After not feeling well for a few days, I came outside to overgrown beds, crunchy leaves, and a tangled web of vines that were starting to choke my tomato plant out. This tomato plant has been a sore spot for me for several weeks now. In my place of peace, it has become a tinge of anxiety that creeps into my chest whenever I get the courage to approach it. Then, after further assessment, I retreat. But not today. Today, I'm putting my big girl pants on and I'm choosing to face this head on. I once heard the saying, be like the buffalo. Apparently, buffalo have made it a habit to go towards a storm when they see it coming. Instead of going the opposite way, they run to it. While the pain and discomfort may initially be more intense, it's shorter lived, allowing them to pass through to clear skies much faster and build resilience in the process. Unlike the cow, whose natural instinct is to run away from the storm. And while this may seem like a good idea, they stay trapped inside the harsh conditions for a longer period of time, which may cause even more damage. And in my attempts to be more self-aware, I'm realizing that I've been the cow, which is ironically close to coward. Coincidence? Maybe not. I've tried to outrun the storm far too many times through procrastination and numbing myself. What's crazy is that it doesn't even have to be a storm. Sometimes it's just a spring shower and I will still avoid facing it. This is hard for me to understand because I've always considered myself to be a fairly fearless person. I'd even go as far as to say that those who know me would agree. Now, to my credit, the older I get, the more cautious I am, nevertheless audacious. It's funny how that works. I can face obvious challenges head on, but when it comes to something as simple as sitting in silence, I become intimidated. Intimidated by myself, by the things I put off, the things I avoid, little things that become big things when I let them fester. Except recently, I realized that it hasn't always been a matter of me letting things fester, but a trauma response that manifests itself as avoidance, to be specific. I wasn't taught how to be vulnerable or work through my feelings. I just learned to suck it up. But just as I realized it's time to address these tomatoes, I realized that it's time to address some parts of myself that don't feel good to sit in. I'll admit, some things I've buried so far down that it's taken some time and true effort to find them. And I've gotten to the point where I'm okay with that. I'm accepting the process and the effort that is required. I can also admit that it becomes overwhelming trying to figure out what to get rid of and what to keep. Everyone says healing is about doing more, reading more books, developing more habits, creating another morning routine. But what if it's the other way around? Gardening has taught me that growth doesn't always happen because you keep adding things. Sometimes growth starts with what you remove. Just like dealing with these tomatoes, one of the hardest lessons about tomato plants is learning to prune them. Cutting off healthy branches just feels so wrong. I've let this plant become overgrown because it looks so nice, lush and full, but then I noticed that it wasn't producing fruit. There was so much energy going into all the extra branches and leaves that there wasn't enough making it to the fruit, the part that really matters. It was almost like a punch in the gut when I realized I had wasted all this time letting this tomato plant grow in vain. I finally realized that it was time to cut back. It's time for me to pull up the weeds that have been choking my growth, the noise of distraction and limiting thoughts that I've accepted over time. Thoughts that I'm not capable of being consistent or following through with my goals, that I'm not enough or even deserving. It's time to make room for new fruitful thoughts. I've never had to prune a tomato plant back so much, so I didn't know how much to cut or even what to cut, but I knew I had to start somewhere. The beautiful thing about this plant is that it's indeterminate, meaning that it will continue to grow throughout the season, so there's still time to recover. Still time for restoration. Another thing I'm learning through gardening is recognizing what seasons bring when they change and trusting to let go in order to prepare for the next season. And because I understand the peace of God's word, I understand the promise of restoration. So I hold on to the faith that I have in his word, the hopes of being restored when I'm exhausted, when I feel like I just won't get it, when I feel depleted. I hold on to the hope that if I can manage to trust him enough to cut back, then I will be restored tenfold. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the execution is easier said than done, but I think I'm figuring it out. I can be a little dramatic sometimes, so I started with fasting. It was black and white, and I needed action without overthinking. This has become my strongest tool. When I fast, I also cut out social media. So to literally sit in silence forces me to sit with myself. This was very difficult at first, and even caused some anxiety to flare. But the more I do it, the more I'm getting the hang of it. Like Bob Marley said, you can't run away from yourself. I'm starting to hear my thoughts again, analyzing how I feel in the moment, finding what's been buried. I'm still not sure if my incisions are hitting the mark, but it's nice to start identifying what's there. And when cutting, you have to be careful. So I'm going slow, waiting for my instruction. An amazing thing that I've discovered in learning to sit with myself is that the more I hear myself, the better I hear the Most High. I feel like I'm on an AM dial trying to find the right frequency. And while it's still a little staticky, I'm starting to get clarity. I'm starting to get the flow. Do, observe, listen. Do, observe, listen. So as I observe how this tomato plant responds to what I just did, I'll wait to receive my next set of instructions and let you know how it's going. How are your tomato plants coming along?